Do you know what I'd love right now?
What?
Just some clean, flat surfaces in my house.
Oh, like because everything's untidy.
Just everything is untidy. It's everywhere. And
Mm.
it's like, I don't want to blame the kids, but it is school holidays.
Mm.
And it's me. I mean, I'm messy because there's like piles of papers and piles of clothing, all the clothing, and just like, I just would like some clean, flat surfaces. That's all.
Well, yes, I agree. And we were just
Yeah.
discussing this because we were away for the weekend about
Mm.
unpacking suitcases.
Oh,
And
yes.
I know some people in my life who get home and then they unpack their suitcase. Now, this is not my reality,
Oh,
Sally.
right. Okay. What do you do?
Months.
Oh,
I'll be
no.
stepping over it
Oh,
for months. And
really?
absolutely, it's like once it's there, I've done the
Oh,
job. And only will
yeah.
I go into it if I need things from it. And I'm like,
To
where are those
retrieve
pants?
those
But
pants. Yeah.
otherwise, no interest in it. It's dead to me. It's just there.
Yep.
So at the moment, we have a suitcase situation.
And what about tea?
I know he's good. Yep.
Right. So he
And
will
he'll be
unpack
like,
his
this will take
suitcase in
me
the
five
in a
minutes.
couple of days.
Yeah, in
Or
a
he
couple
just
of
straight away.
days.
Yeah, a
In a
couple of
couple of
days.
days. And I mean, the kids aren't good, and I have to force them and be
Yeah.
like, go and do it, but then I don't do it myself. So I'm all about that. Go do these things, but then
Yep.
I don't. It's
Do what I
terrible.
say.
Yep.
What I do.
Yep.
Great.
I
Good
know.
luck.
Good morning, Sally.
Good morning, Siona. How are you?
Good. I am good. I went to the gym early this
Oh my
morning.
gosh. Well done, you.
Well, thank you. I didn't do a great job at the gym. You know, when you
Doesn't
have those
matter.
times and you're like, wasn't a good one.
Doesn't
Doesn't matter
matter.
because I went.
You went. You still get all the points.
And I wore a very thick jumper with no t-shirt. It was very hot in there. Anyway, that's a side
Who
note.
wears a jumper to the gym?
Me, because I'm obviously not planning on doing an intense workout. I'm just there to like
To
push a
just
few
be
weights,
seen.
ride on the bike a little bit, and then I'm like, whew, I'm done.
Oh, yeah. Sip your
Yeah.
water and then out you
Sit my,
go.
I don't even take water.
No.
Don't,
Siona, we're
Sally. I've
learning
got
a
my
lot
car
about you.
keys and my phone and the headphones.
You need a water bottle, Siona.
No, there's a drinking tab there. Don't use
Like a
it.
bubbler. You don't use that.
I don't use it because I haven't broken a
Wow.
sweat.
I think I'm drinking at least 600 ml if I'm at the
Oh
gym.
my goodness. Well, that is a sign that you are actually doing
Oh,
a
doing
workout where
something.
your
Okay,
body needs
sure.
replenishing of water, not me. I don't want to talk about it.
No,
What are
all
we here
right.
for today?
Let's move
What are we here
on.
for?
What are we here for today? Go. Big question.
Well, quickly, to sum it up. This is a really complex
Mm.
discussion that we're having today.
Yes, it is.
And in all seriousness,
Yep.
we want to bring this to the table because it's something that we discuss often with clients. Should I have kids? If you live with a chronic health condition, should I have kids?
Yep.
I also want to acknowledge that there will be people listening to this who didn't get the chance to make a decision
Yes.
about whether they're going to have kids. There's people who've already had children
Yep.
before their diagnosis, and now they're sitting with many of the same fears as the people that we're talking to today as well about what does the future look like?
Yeah.
Should I have children?
Yes.
So this is for everyone, this episode. It's for the people who have already made a decision. It's for the people who didn't get a chance to make the decision. And now it's for the people who are also sort of looking ahead into the future and thinking about whether they want to have children. Can I just say that before we get started?
It's a fantastic thing to say before we get started. And
Thank
also, to piggyback on that, is there are no right or wrong answers in this discussion.
Oh, there are not. There are not. We're not telling anybody what to do here.
No. Do you know what? This question, this podcast episode hits home to me because if I can start my
Please.
little spiel about a story I had straight after diagnosis, where I was diagnosed with MS. I quickly became involved in like, oh, what kind of conferences are there out there that I can get involved and learn more about this? And I went to a People with MS Day, which was a full conference which used to be organised by the MS Society in Melbourne in Australia, where you would go along and they would organise fantastic speakers. And it was huge. The year that I went, it was at the Tennis Centre.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
that's how big it used to be.
I never went to any of those.
No, this was like 2001, 2002, probably, maybe 2003. Anyway, massive. And I don't know if it was at this particular conference or a different one, but I was listening to a neurologist speak. Can't remember what his name was, but he was a very good speaker. And I thought, I'm going to put my hand up and ask a question here. I'd just been diagnosed. So I put my hand up and I said, now that I've been diagnosed with MS, I just want your opinion. Should I be considering whether to have children or not, given the fact that you can pass MS on to your kids? Now, to clarify, we just need to make sure that our listeners know that it is not a genetic condition that you would necessarily pass on to your children if you have children, but there is a genetic predisposition. So you're more likely to have MS if one of your parents does, but it doesn't mean that you will have MS. Does that explain it properly?
It does. Yes.
So I put my hand up. I said this. I looked around the audience kind of quickly, and they kind of all looked like they were on board with that question. Nobody was judging me for that question. They kind of understood where it was coming from. And the response I got was so interesting, and I will never forget it. And I found it both kind of confronting, but also reassuring in a strange way. I'll be interested in your take. He said to me, well, he ran through the fact that it's not genetically certain, there's a predisposition, etc. He said, much like heart disease, you're more likely to have heart disease if one of your parents does, but doesn't mean you will, So that was good, explaining. And he said, you know what? 1 in 3 people in Australia during the course of their lives will get cancer at some point, 1 in 3. He said,
Sobering.
yeah, sobering. So he said 1 in 3 of your children at some point in their lives will go on to develop cancer. Would that stop you from having children, knowing that statistic? And I thought, oh, wow, that's a big one.
Yes.
And he said, because you have MS, 1 in 100 of your children could go on to develop MS. And then he finished by saying, so just have 99, which I thought was actually quite, like, that made me giggle. I thought, fair enough. Like, it's a serious topic, but
it's a serious topic.
A nice way to frame it.
It is very perspective giving. I like it. I like it.
It only attacks kind of one aspect of what we're going to talk about today, which is just that fear of, am I going to pass this on to my child? And that's just one aspect of this discussion.
Exactly.
I thought that was just a moment for me in my life, pre-children, of kind of trying to get my head around what would that look like.
Yes. Yep. And you're right. That is just one aspect, and it's a great story, and thank you for sharing that. But it's also, it's layered with like the health, identity, uncertainty, our values. Like there's all these reasons why we're thinking about having or not having children.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's no right or wrong answer here. I'm going to quickly talk about like my experience.
Please.
Like, because I was a teenager, I wasn't thinking about kids at all. That was like, that was decades in my mind.
When you're old, in your mind.
When I'm so old. When I'm so old.
Yeah.
But early on in my 20s, the medication that I was on, and there wasn't a lot really available, I had seen a neurologist who said, look, we're looking at a different kind of drug. It was like a chemotherapy kind of drug that they were giving at the time.
Right.
So I was going down all that sort of like exploring, is that what I'm going to be doing? Because there was no other drugs on the market. And so I was 24 at the time, and the doctor said to me, I think freezing your eggs would be a good idea now. You should have a conversation with your partner. Oh, yeah. Great. I was 23.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Be up for that. That would be great.
This partner that I have, that we've not really discussed marriage, or we're not at that point.
No, we've been together for a few years, but we're 23. Yep. We are 23 years old, and no one's wanting babies. So, I talked to him about it, and he was like, well, I don't know. And that's, I never ended up going down that route, but it was the first time I started thinking about, do I want to have children, and what does this look like?
Yes.
That was my first sort of,
like
sitting with at a very young age, of looking into the future and going, do I have to make a decision right now? It turned out a different treatment became available, and I got on compassionate ground. So I didn't have to make the decision.
Right. Yep.
And I'll get back when we go through this later to where I did. But that was my first little, I have to now.
What a baptism of fire for serious discussions.
Absolutely.
Hey, you've just been diagnosed with MS, so there's a lot of serious discussions going on, isn't there?
A lot of serious discussions. And if you're young, many people aren't ready for these discussions.
No.
They're not in what we would consider the sort of the normal time frame. So
yeah. Wow. Okay.
So
yes,
let's talk about the sort of, I guess, the decision-making landscape here, because it's much more complex than just, do I want kids? And for those people who have kids, them thinking about, like, it was a lot more complex than, do I just want kids?
Yeah.
Always is.
And I think that's important to note, because I think often people with chronic health conditions, of course, we're all in society as well, and our friends might not have chronic health conditions. So we hear that from other people as well. Do I even want kids? I don't know. Should we have kids? But it is more complex when you are dealing with the diagnosis of a chronic health condition, the possible implications for what that means for your children genetically, but also what that looks like for you moving ahead. How am I going to manage this in my life? So it's, everybody can say, oh, well, I'm not ready to have kids. I love my life too much as somebody that's single or partnered or just, double income, no kids. But there are added layers for people with chronic health conditions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one is, and we're
Mm.
talking from an MS perspective, but so
Yep.
many different conditions
Yep.
where there's just an unpredictability of symptoms. For many,
Mhm.
many chronic health conditions, symptoms vary day to day. So
Yep.
it means you're dealing with fatigue or flares or progression of your illness.
Yep.
And if you're trying to think about what's that going to look like in the future if I have children,
Yes.
there, who knows?
Yeah. The unknown. The unknown is
Absolute
heavy.
unknown.
Yep.
It's unknown squared, right? Like
Yeah,
if I
that's
have
it.
children, like that's
Yes, it's
hard.
unknown squared. I like that. It's like the
Mm.
unknown that everybody carries and more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
square it. And also the fertility consideration. So, like in your example, it's like, how is treatment going to affect this? Do I have to freeze eggs? What do I do with the
Yes.
sperm? I don't
Yep.
know what you do with the sperm. What about the medication safety? So,
Yes.
if I'm on this drug and I want to conceive, is that going to be okay for the embryo, etc.?
Oh, that is a huge one because at
Big
the
one.
time when I
Yep.
actually did end up having children, they were
Yeah.
like, there is no way you can stay on this medication when you have
Mm.
children.
Mm.
And I'd gone down and I had sought
Yep.
other opinions because I'm like, this
Yep.
medication's doing its job. I'm
Yes.
very nervous to come off it. But
Yes.
these days, people don't come off it
Correct. I was gonna
because,
make that point because
yeah,
we've been in this game for long enough that
we
we
have.
remember the drugs where they were like, absolutely, if you think you are even going to have a night of conception, then get off this drug before that
Yes,
happens. And now it's like,
exactly.
oh, third trimester, like have it
Yeah,
to the third or
even then, some of my clients have
yeah.
stayed on the drug for the entire time.
Yep.
And I'm
Yep.
like, right. So I was one of the people.
Yes.
They've got more data. They know now. That's fine.
Yes.
That's just the way medication works.
And I do love that more data because the more data comes from the accidental pregnancies.
Yes,
You know, and
exactly.
and being and when people report that, then they can accrue the data of what
Yeah,
happens to those kids when people didn't realize and they don't come off. And now we
exactly.
know that there are
And
so
now,
many more drugs that are safe while pregnant,
hmm,
but we only know that because of time.
exactly, because of time.
Because of time.
I think there's that sort of capacity versus desire, the mismatch there. So this, I want this, but I can't do this. Like
Yeah.
I really want to have children, but I can't have children because of my condition. I
Right.
see a lot of clients who think
Yep.
that.
Yep. Or the one step back from that, because it sounds like they've made that decision. I
Mm,
really want to have kids, but I'm just so nervous
yeah.
that I don't know if I'll be able to handle it. Will I? And then you have your good days with your condition where you're like, yeah, I could do this.
Yes.
And then you have your bad days where you're like, I'm not bringing a child into this. Like, how could I
Yes.
possibly?
Yeah, if I can't look after
Oh,
myself, I can't, it's really hard to do that.
yes.
How would I add another human being? I get
Yep.
that.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Good
Yeah.
days, bad days are the worst. Consistency
Yes.
would just be so much more helpful, wouldn't it?
Oh, it would make
Yeah.
decision making far
So much
easier.
easier. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. So yeah, I guess we're looking at, those kind of, how do we make decisions? Do we make them with our heads or with our hearts?
Yeah.
And how do we work through those kind of implications?
Mm,
And looking at our self now and the future self, which is the unknown self. So, what could I manage today? And do I base my decision on that? What
mm,
could I manage 5 years from now, which nobody actually knows?
no.
And do I base my decision on that unknown quantity?
Yes. And
Yeah.
we also, as you were speaking, and I was thinking, we also live in a culture where, well, in our country, in Australia, where it is very parent dominant, like especially mother dominant, that if you
Yep.
have a child, then you're the main person raising it versus the sort of village mentality when it was like 14 adults to
Yes.
one child. And, we do have things like childcare and we do have things, but we have less sort of informal systems to help
Yep.
support us. And I think that that's really hard because then you
Yeah.
are going, what is in my capacity? You're matching up rather than going, who do I have? And so, who do I have that can also help on this journey? I've certainly had clients over the years who have made this a whole family
Yes.
discussion. If
Yes.
I and I
Yep.
applaud this, and I think I love that we're moving towards a model of if a
Yeah.
child is coming into the world, there's multiple people who are going to be involved in this child's life.
Yep.
What does that look like? But
Yeah.
ultimately, I think in our country, it does come down to the individual or
Yes.
to individual if there is a partner involved in that
Yep.
the birthing and the
The upbringing.
rearing the
Yeah. The
upbringing thank you
rearing. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
rearing of the child.
Yes. Yes. So what you're hitting on is the perfect thing here, which is just so much is about communication, effective communication,
Yep,
and
absolutely.
and discussing these kinds of concepts if you're able to with the really important people in your life.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So the what ifs and the uncertainty is a huge, huge theme for people living with a chronic illness because if you're thinking about having a child, you're thinking about parenting, it
Yeah.
absolutely amplifies so many of the common fears that we have. So what if my health declines? I can
Oh,
absolutely remember having these thoughts early
mm,
on when I did have children.
yep.
What if I can't care for my child in the
Yeah.
way that I want
Yeah.
to?
Yeah. And all the specifics. What if I can't play footy out the back with the kids? What if I can't walk them to the
Yeah.
school? What if I
Yes.
don't have enough energy to go to the park on the weekend?
Yeah.
Like all of the very specific scary bits
Yeah.
will
Yes.
cross our minds. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Yep.
very normal.
Yeah,
I
so
would
normal.
I would say as well that there are all these thoughts that humans have anyway when they're having children, but
Mm,
it's absolutely amplified when you live with a chronic health condition. I think the parent guilt, mum guilt, whatever we want to call it, is just
yeah,
in
huge.
everybody's life
Yep.
anyway, if you're a parent, but then
Yep.
you add the additional layer of a chronic health
Yeah.
condition and absolutely guilt can
Yes.
just seep in from all the areas.
All the angles. It does
All
make
the
a huge
angles.
difference because I think when you're not living with a chronic health condition, you can say, oh, gee, I'm really nervous about this. But you look around you and you think, look, everybody else does it. There's no
Mm,
real reason why I'm not the same as everybody else.
mhm.
But I think when you have that chronic health condition, particularly if it's a degenerative disease where there's a threat that it's going to get worse over time, then you can't just look at everybody else and say, well, they're doing it, so I can. It's
Yes.
much harder, it's much more personal, and it's
Yes.
much more scary because we don't know how we will look 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the track.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah.
It's interesting. I had a friend say to me a little while ago that they had gone as single parent.
Yep.
They had gone on a trip and they had contracted gastro while they were away
Oh,
in a hotel room, could
disgusting.
barely do a thing, could
Yep.
barely do a thing, and recognized that actually traveling as a solo parent was quite scary because if anything happened to them,
Yep.
and that's a version, I think, of what people with chronic illnesses can feel like.
Yep.
Like if
Yep.
I go down, how
Yeah.
do I take care?
Yes. And being by yourself, as in the only adult in a
Yes.
foreign land or city or
Yeah, yeah,
whatever. Yeah,
absolutely.
that's hard. That's
Yeah, that's really hard.
gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Planning, planning, planning.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yep.
My
Knowing
goodness.
what plan B is
It,
always important for humans, but particularly for people with chronic health conditions.
correct.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, we know that humans struggle, like you're saying, more broadly with that intolerance of uncertainty. We don't
Hmm.
like it. We don't
No,
like it at all. It makes us feel very, very
it's
uncomfortable.
gross.
And
Like,
having a chronic illness does increase that future focused anxiety that we
mhm,
were talking about, that
it does.
we're more aware of what the future may look like in its challenges.
Yes.
And that, of course, raises our anxiety.
Yes.
Yep.
And I mean, the reality is there's no guarantees in parenting for anyone, like we
Correct.
said.
Correct.
And again, I'm re just repeating myself, but it's that people with a chronic health condition
Yep.
face that additional layer of unknown.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So let's talk about the reactions from others because those sort of external voices, when you're sitting with the idea of whether you'll have children, or even if you have had children, you've got children and then you
Yes.
get a diagnosis, those external
Yeah.
voices are loud.
They are loud
Or
and they're
they
so
can be.
opinionated.
Oh my
They
gosh.
can be. Not
They can,
all,
not
but they
all,
can
they
be.
can
And
be
they
very
love to have an
intrusive.
opinion, a kind of a flippant opinion,
Ugh.
because they're spending they're giving like 30 seconds of their mind into what your reality is, and
Yeah,
they're just throwing something out, thinking
exactly.
that that's what you should be doing, but that's really not very helpful.
Not very helpful. And it can be, I mean, there's multiple things that can be said
Mm,
and multiple sort of areas that can
mm.
piss people off, but the minimizing is a big one. Like, you'll
Yep.
be fine.
Yes.
You'll be
Minimizing is
fine.
probably the most frequent, isn't it? You'll
Yeah,
be
I would say
fine.
so.
Don't
You'll be
worry
fine.
about
It's
it.
the sweep under the carpet.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Don't even think about that.
I don't think we don't hear too much from people who have copped a comment like, well, that's just irresponsible to have children. Have you come across many of that?
I come across clients who
Yep.
do not have children,
Yep.
who have a chronic health diagnosis and
Hmm.
will say of themselves,
Ah.
irresponsible of me to have children.
Oh, right.
So I think that some people hold themselves to those standards of
Yes.
and there may be a small hereditary link, like with
Yep.
risk, sorry, with their condition.
Yes,
But
sure.
there's like it sort of ends with me, it's irresponsible,
Right.
I'm not going to. So I would hear that more from
Right.
clients
Yep.
than from like friends and family saying that to the person.
Yes.
But that's particularly harsh.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. So I guess we tend to see comments being either overly optimistic, you'll be fine,
Yes.
it'll be great, have 3 children, it'll be easy,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
Or the overly cautious advice, oh, I don't know, maybe you should leave it a little bit, maybe you should
Yeah.
wait, maybe you should get more advice, maybe you should, oh,
Yes.
I'm not quite sure.
Yes.
Yeah, and we're dealing with a lot of different perspectives, aren't we? So there's the kind of family perspective, as if there are specific people in your life that want to have a little bit of buy-in. There's the general social, how do you feel about what society is telling you to do?
Hmm.
And there's also the medical component. So sometimes you might be working with a specialist or your GP, and maybe they also want to, I don't want to say give you their opinion, but they might want to draw your focus to a specific area that they think needs your consideration when you're making that decision.
Well, at the time when I was actually genuinely thinking about having babies,
Hmm.
my specialist at the time said, well, it's a bit like playing Russian roulette.
Oh my gosh.
Mm. Mm.
It's not an appropriate way to frame it.
I was like, all right, let's have a crack.
Thanks.
Let's
Wow.
just
So did
let's
you
have a
find
go.
that offensive, or did you think,
Oh, look, at the
okay,
time
well,
I didn't. At the time I did. And my first pregnancy went really
oh,
well. Like it was
okay,
great.
yeah,
My
yeah,
second
good.
one was like
Mm.
playing Russian roulette again, didn't work as well.
Right,
But
okay. Yep.
but at the time, no, I didn't take it offensively. I mean, I
Okay.
found it a bit funny. In time, I was like,
Mm,
yeah, okay, that's
mm.
probably not the best thing to say to
No.
someone.
I remember seeing a GP where I was not even talking about kids, and this was on a trip somewhere, so it wasn't even my local GP. And
Mm.
when they asked my medical history and I said, oh, I've got MS, I wasn't there for anything to do with MS. She said, oh, so you're not going to have kids? Just straight out. And I was like,
Oh,
that's interesting that you asked me that question, because actually I am planning to have kids. And the research shows that,
oh,
my gosh. And she was like, oh, that's
wow.
interesting. Oh, thanks for telling me that. I was like, that's
Oh,
okay.
thanks for putting me in a really uncomfortable position, but I appreciate the
Wow.
information you've given me.
Yeah. That came out so flippantly.
Yes,
Because if it
so
wasn't me, if it
flippantly.
was anybody else, would that have sent them into a spiral of I'm not going to have kids? Because that GP told me that, of course,
Well,
I.
that's the thing, right? It depends on like how does that land for the individual it's said it to.
Yes,
It's irresponsible to say that,
it is
I would say. You
irresponsible.
know, I just thought of this time where I
Yeah.
was working and I had really bad jaw pain, and someone said, one of my colleagues who was a friend was like, if I hear you mention it again, I'm booking you an appointment with a acupuncturist. So I went to
Yep.
see this guy
Yes.
on the I've never had acupuncture, so I'm there. He puts them all in my face,
Ew.
and he's getting all my information. And I've got on their MS, and he goes, "What's this?" And I said MS. He goes, "Oh, but not the really bad one." And
Oh
I'm like, "Well,
yeah.
just like MS." And then he
Just
goes,
the,
"Oh, my father-in-law has it. It's terrible. That's multiple sclerosis. That's not what you've got." I'm like, "Oh no, that's the same
oh.
thing." And then he says to me, "Well, you should never have kids." And he
Oh
says that, and he says, and what's going on with your pain? And he makes me stick my tongue out and do random things and says, no,
oh
no, you can never have kids. Ironically, I was pregnant at the time, but I didn't know it yet.
oh my
He was like,
gosh.
your body can't have kids. And
But did that sit with you at all in a
well, no,
deep
I
way,
thought it was,
or
I
you
found
thought he
that
was
the
an idiot?
whole thing was, yeah, and he'd left me alone for half an hour. And just a side note, I tried to get up to get my phone, and I didn't know that you can't do that when you've got needles
All
in
the
your
needles
hand and your
in.
face. Very painful.
I can't believe you tried to get your phone with needles in your hand.
In
Oh
all
my
of me. And I pressed down. I was like, but I was left alone
oh
for so long. I was left alone contemplating the fact that I'll never have children while I was
no.
pregnant, trying to get my phone to scroll.
Oh my God.
Whatever.
That's so interesting. The only time I've ever gone to an acupuncturist, is that right? An
Yeah,
acupuncture
acupuncturist. Yes.
acupuncturist practitioner was when I was 2 weeks overdue in having my first baby, and I just wanted this baby
Oh,
out.
you're
So I went
like,
to an acupuncturist. Yep, just
that's
get those
so
needles
funny.
in and let's get this baby out. And he left me alone for half an hour as well. And I think he was smoking marijuana out the back.
I do wonder what they do. That's there. No, jokes. But you
Jokes,
could just
jokes.
smell it. You could smell it while you were there.
Yeah, I was like, I know what you're doing, buddy. Like, get back in here and
Wow.
get this baby out. But anyway,
Easiest money.
it did not work.
Did it? Oh, damn it.
No,
Anyway, didn't fix my jaw pain either.
no.
Anyway, back we go.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
Okay, but
yes.
let's talk about self-doubt and identity,
Oh,
because when you're
all of
saying,
it.
hey, should I have kids now? Like, really, we're just saying to ourselves, am I capable of this?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, is this going to be something I can do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it? And I think some of the common narratives
Mm.
around that is I won't be a good enough parent. I
Yeah.
probably had those thoughts back then, or my
Yeah.
body has already let me down. That's
Yes.
a classic one. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. I'm saying that out loud. And I think that that was, my body's not doing what it's supposed to. How's it going to, grow babies, birth
Yeah.
babies?
Yeah.
I'll be a burden.
Manage
I'll
as
be
a
a
mum.
burden to the children. Yes.
Yes.
I'll be a burden to the children, I think is a big one that I hear.
Yeah.
And
And not just to the children, but if I want to bring in that village to help me with the kids, is that okay that I'm maybe going to be expecting a bit more of the friends at school or the parents-in-law or the siblings or whatever to help me raise this child?
Yeah.
Am I just creating a situation that's going to burden everyone else because I'm feeling selfish?
I'm feeling selfish.
Oh,
But I mean, the reality is parenting is so diverse and there isn't a single right way. And I think we're
correct.
seeing that reflected back now.
Yep.
I think the nuclear family of two parents and
Yes.
two children is like
Yes.
now outweighed by blended families and all these different mixes. And
Yep.
yeah, anyway, I just think
Yes.
it's families and parenting is so diverse now.
Yeah, there's no single right way to do
There's
it.
no single right way. And
Yep.
not that I'm trying to find silver lining here, Sally, but
Yep.
I would say that chronic illness can bring any kind of diversity can bring strength in a family. It
Yeah.
can bring greater empathy for children, adaptability. What else?
Well, resilience.
Oh, yeah, of course,
Yep.
resilience. Yep.
I don't think it's a silver lining. I actually think it's a reality.
Yeah.
And we've worked with lots of people that are parents that either found out that they had the chronic health condition after they birthed these
Yep.
children or
Yep.
before. And there are ups and downs, ebbs and flows, as we all know, with chronic health conditions. And sometimes we go through a lower point, and sometimes that can impact on the way we want to be a parent. And
Yep.
sometimes people come and see psychologists at that point. And you and I have spent lots of time talking to people about what being a parent means to them
Yes.
and that maybe they were really hooked by the fact that it did mean walking their kids to primary school. And in this bad couple of weeks, they haven't been able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, they kind of view themselves as, well, now I'm failing as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
But you talk about silver linings. I actually think that they're just a really important discussion that we have with people about what it means to be a good parent and educate our children and help them, like help bring them up to know lots of different aspects of life. And one of them is about empathy for other people, including empathy for your parents.
Mm.
Empathy for parents when they're unwell or when they're having a bad day, or,
When they're
maybe,
aging.
yeah, that's right. The life skills of, well, that's okay, you're in grade 6 and you can do a load of washing now,
Yep.
is actually really good to
Mm.
grow really great human beings.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's not all about, oh, I'm letting my kids down because I have a chronic health condition and now I'm asking them to do the washing. Actually,
Yeah.
we can reframe that a little bit and say this is a great opportunity to upskill your, young kids or your
Yeah.
early teenagers into
Yeah.
doing more with you.
Yeah. And to do that, we have to step back and we have to lower our standards a little bit about the way
Yep.
we envisioned being a parent because
Yes.
parenting is just hard for everybody.
Yep. Yep.
It's a hard gig.
Yes, it is.
And if you have a chronic health condition, it doesn't automatically disqualify you as a good parent.
No,
Like you're not suddenly
no,
just a crappy parent or a less
no.
than parent.
You might
Um,
raise better humans.
yes.
Like
Yeah.
honestly, I really think that there's a chance for us to be better parents because of our chronic health conditions.
Yeah, yes, I
Because
like
we
that you
can
said that.
assist the kids to have a bigger understanding of what the world's about and other people's challenges.
Yes.
Yep, it's
I
not
think
all
of
about them all the time. That's
exactly. And
okay.
I think about my little son and he so
Mm.
often, I'm lowering my voice in case he can
Mm.
hear me because we're
Yeah.
on school holidays.
Yeah.
But he'll so often be like, "Oh, are you tired, Mum? Do you want me to make you a coffee?" Just this
Oh,
real,
buddy.
like he's a thoughtful little thing, but
Oh,
just this like, "Are you okay?"
yep.
I
Great.
don't want him
You
to
can see it.
worry, but
Yep.
he sometimes is just like, "Hey, I can." And I think
Yeah.
that that just makes his lens is a little bit wider on the
Yep.
world.
Exactly. That's
Mm.
exactly right.
Yep,
And
which
how
is lovely.
nice. Yeah, it's
Yes.
really nice.
So let's talk about
Mm.
some of the practical and emotional, I guess, considerations
Yep.
that people might think about for people who might be sort of staring into the future and wondering, am I going to bring children in the world? Is that something that I want to do?
Yeah. So all the practical things that keep us up at night, where you're like,
Mm.
oh my gosh, the financial, like that's the thing that keeps us up
Oh,
most, isn't it?
yeah.
I mean, I should say it's about health, our own health and other people's health, but I think often it comes down to, freaking out about the monetary side of things.
Mm,
That's a big one for
that's
anybody about
huge.
to bring kids into the world, particularly
Yes,
at the moment, petrol prices, but
absolutely.
also just generally speaking, the financial and healthcare access
Yeah.
and the support systems that we touched on before.
Yeah,
So who have
those
you got in your life?
conversations.
Yeah,
Yeah, who's in the village? Who's the village that you can
yeah,
make up if that's something that you're thinking about? And if you're
yeah.
a parent already and you got
Mm.
a diagnosis of chronic health condition, who
Yep.
is that village that helps you?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
are you using really clear messaging with them?
Yes.
How's your
Good
communication
points.
going with them? Because you might have a great village, but if they don't know what's going on in your world, they're not going to be like bringing the lasagna.
No, they're not going to be bringing the lasagna, or they're not going to be saying, "Hey, I can take the kids to
Yes.
soccer training this week. Don't worry about it." Or we can just do
Yeah.
a swap, or whatever it
Yeah.
is.
You
Yeah,
take them
yeah,
one way, I'll take them the other, or whatever. It's just
yes,
magic. But
yes.
it's a really good idea to identify who the people are and to
Hmm.
then communicate with them well.
Yes. So
Yep.
that I would say that's having some flexible parenting expectations, right?
Yep.
Having
Perfect.
a really rigid way of going, this is how I'm going to parent, or
Yep.
this is how I am parenting, but being
Yes.
really flexible. I want to acknowledge that that's really hard to do sometimes
Yeah.
because we have that maybe the blueprint from our upbringing or just
Mm.
the way that we would like it to be, and being flexible in what that looks like is game changing.
Yeah. Flexibility.
Yeah, flexibility.
Flexibility and communication. That's a good one, isn't
Yes.
it? It's all about
Good
that.
one.
Yeah. You know, look, if we take it back to self-identity again, maybe there's a little bit of work to be done here around grieving that sense of self, who I thought I was going to be as a parent
Mm.
versus now this reality that I've got. And it's not less than, it's just different.
Yes.
Sometimes that's a grief process,
Mm.
trying to create the type of parent you want to be. Like
Yeah,
there's,
within your limits. Is that
yep.
what you're doing? Creating the type.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think we've said this multiple times. Like, what do kids really need? They don't need a mum that's going to run the marathon with them. They need presence. They need you to be, they need love. Of course, I should have said that
Need
first. They
love.
need love. They need food. They need shelter. But then outside of that, they need you to be interested in them. They need your attention. They need your time like that. They don't need you to kick the football. They don't
No.
need you to run the marathon. Like we've got to, so much of it is our expectations
Yep.
versus their
That's
expectations.
so true.
Yeah, we have to
You
be.
said that. And I love that you said, I should have said love first. But for me, interest is the demonstration of love.
Oh,
So when
yes.
you said that, it's the presence and the interest, even the presence. I mean, presence is super important, of course, but we know there are single parents out there and they're working 17 jobs or whatever, and it's really hard.
Mm.
But the interest in your child, they feel love, and you don't have to
Mm.
be running around chasing a football with
No,
them to feel that you're interested in them. So there are
correct.
so many different threads to being a parent.
Yes.
So yeah, I think to be able to reframe how you want to be as a parent, to look at the reality of your situation, and then to kind of author a little bit, figure it out, write a story about what you're aiming for, and then
Hmm.
try that out.
Yeah, I love
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
And we just want to normalize the fact that some people will decide to have kids
Yep.
with their chronic health condition. Some people had children and then got a diagnosis of their a
Yes.
chronic health condition and now are kind of navigating what that looks like.
Yep.
Some people will say no to children,
Yes.
whether that's because of their chronic health condition or because they don't want to have children.
Yep.
And some people might be sitting here going, not now. This is
Yeah.
something that I'm going to address further down the track.
Yep.
All of these are valid. There is no right or wrong here. But what the point of today was is to talk about how a diagnosis of a chronic health condition doesn't have to stop us from becoming parents if we choose to. It is a consideration.
Yep.
There's lots, we just wanted to put our thoughts out
Yes.
around this. It's
Yes.
something to absolutely consider. You wouldn't go into this without at least thinking about how that's going to play out.
Yep.
But we don't want it to be something that people are like, if I have a diagnosis, I'm not going there. Or now that I have children, I have this diagnosis, I'm not a good parent.
Yes, correct. All of
Mm.
those things. And I guess we wanted to do the episode because we know what a big deal it is. Like, but
Huge.
I think it's one of those invisible symptoms of having a chronic health condition that other
Yeah.
people, they might just go along with the flow of society. Oh, now you're a particular age. Now you're going to decide to have kids or not. Oh, there we
Mhm.
go. They had children. But maybe other people are not as aware as we might be as
Yes.
to the time and effort and thought and fear and anxiety that went into those decisions, whether it was, like you say, to have children or not to have children.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. So
Hmm.
there's no perfect decision, everybody. It's
No,
just
that's
about
right.
making a considered, values aligned one. Should we say
Yep.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An- Anything you want to add, Sally?
Maybe just around self-compassion, that
Oh,
it's really
always.
important to understand and to recognize within yourself that it's a complex decision
Mm.
and you're making it in a complex situation of living in a body that has something, that a lot of people don't have to deal with, that you're
Mm.
managing.
Yes.
So, take it gently and easily on yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's
Lovely.
no right decision, which is what we're
No
saying.
right decision. We will absolutely do more podcasts on parenting. It's a big
Yeah, that's
topic on different
right.
areas, but yeah,
Yes.
we just wanted to touch on this one because it's important.
Yeah.
Lovely. Well,
Thank you.
Sally, what are you looking
Yes.
forward to?
Let me think. I haven't thought about it. Have you got something on hand?
Yes,
Okay,
I found
go.
a new show. It's
Oh,
called,
oh,
oh no, what it's called Neighbors and Friends, something, Your Neighbors and Friends with
okay.
John
I haven't
Hamm.
heard. Oh,
John
yeah,
Hamm.
great. Yeah, he's great.
So fun. You must watch
Oh,
this.
really? Okay.
It's season two's just come out, but I'd only just discovered it.
Oh,
So
I haven't heard of it.
it's
Neighbors and
so good. It's
friends.
on Apple. It's number two at the moment,
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
It's very good.
Okay, good.
Very good. It's like about the wealthy kind of. Anyway, I'm just
Oh,
like, you know, when you find a new show and you're like,
yes.
it's like someone has delivered you, like the whole season is out,
And you're like, oh, it's a
delivered me the
gift.
goods. It's
Okay,
such a
good.
gift.
I have to watch
So,
that. You know what I really have been looking forward to forever is The Pit season two.
oh,
But I've
talk
got to,
about the pit forever. Is
I
the pit
love The
season
Pit.
two
Season
out?
one was out. Yep, and I
Yes.
loved that. Season two is out, but it's on a streaming service I don't have. And so
What
I've
is
got to sign
it?
up for it, HBO, which is like I've got Prime. I mean, we've got way too many. I've got Prime, but and it says, oh, you can watch it on Prime. No, you've got to subscribe to the next level of Prime, which is
Oh,
HBO Max to get it. So I'm kind of annoyed by that. So I
so
haven't,
not get free trial?
well, no, but I'm like, I've got to just sign up for a month, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
then but then will I remember to cancel it?
Oh, no,
Nobody
you
does.
won't.
No.
No, I'm getting
Neighbours and
Audible
Friends, I might have a
subscription.
look at that.
Do
Yeah.
it.
Thank you
So
very
good.
much.
No
Well, good
worries.
to see you.
Good to see you too, Sally. See
See
you
you
next
next
week.
week. Okay, bye.
Bye.